Okay, Psalm 93, and this is the Psalm of the day. The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherein he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. Thy throne is established of old. Thou art from everlasting. The floods have lifted up, O Lord, the floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waves of the sea. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever.
Jericho and then Jerusalem Amman. We won't cross over the Allenby Bridge from Jericho to Amman, but we'll go to the via that road to the Dead Sea. And you know, the Dead Sea, well, I can describe it as a dramatic and beautiful landscaping, and we will talk about it. By the Dead Sea, we've got a few important locations on the shores of the Dead Sea, and we'll see two of them at least. Qumran, archaeological site, and afterwards Masada, and let's hope we will be also in the water itself. So this is our schedule for today, and later on I'll go on talking about other things.
Good morning, everybody. You know, there's always a question, what a desert is. Okay, very simply, I'll tell you what a desert is. Desert is defined by the amount of rainfall you have. So a desert is anything from 0 rainfall to 150 millimeters. When you go up to Galilee, that is called a Mediterranean climate. Uzi will talk to you more about that later. It's characterized by the olive, and it's anything from as much as 900 to 950 millimeters. So it's very lush and green. Now, when we talk about that specific amount of rainfall, how much of Israel is desert? Roughly 70% of Israel is desert, 0 to 150 millimeters. And yet we manage to have a very large population. In the time that the British were here, from the end of the First World War to 1948, they limited Jewish immigration because they claimed that the economic... we also recycle water. We have about 85% brackish water mixed with regular water to grow our plants.
This road we are going on was actually made as a main road in Jerusalem, going between West Jerusalem and East Jerusalem, and has been turned into a main highway inside Jerusalem as a municipality street, municipality road, but it's always packed and jammed because of its location, and many places you go, this is the road, we call it road number one. And I told you about road number 1 going from Jerusalem to Jericho, so they've got the same number, but this is a Jerusalem municipality road, and the other one is a national road. So it's not the same road, but they've got the same number. כן, פה ימינה, כן? Israel has changed the policy, And what we do now is a lot of desalination. Desalinating water, taking seawater and by some technology, or at least keep it at the current level of it, and not lose much more water every year, because it has become a problem. We also lose water because of the crowing out all the elements that the Dead Sea has. Magnesium, אשלגן, איך אומרים? Not even reasonable. Yes, now we are going, we are leaving Jerusalem. You can see we are going down, and this is actually the border of the desert. Yes, as we go along, you will see the more and more desert, less and less green, and it's very interesting. Jerusalem gets about 500 millimeters of rain every year. That's about 20 inches, no? 20 inches of rain. And the Edomite, the mountains across the desert on the other side in Transjordan, Moab mountains and Edomite mountains, they also get this amount of rain. But the desert itself, as the clouds cross it, don't bring down any rain. So it's something very interesting. You get rain on both sides of the desert, and in the desert itself is completely dry. By the way, I just want to mention it's amazing the amount of salt you get in the Dead Sea, even though there are maybe 3 or 4 other places in the world with the same amount. It's 34% of the water is salt. That means for every liter of water, for every gallon of water, you've got over a kilogram of salt.
And they bathe in the waters. It's very important when one goes to the Dead Sea to do that, because they're healing, especially for skin problems. There's only one problem: if you have an open cut or sore and you bathe in the Dead Sea, that area will feel like it's on fire. You have to wash it out right away with cold, pure water. But you will notice that your mental attitude when you get down to the Dead Sea seems to be happier, calmer. And there is a reason for that, because the barometric pressure is higher down there, and those people who have problems walking feel better when they're at the Dead Sea. And also bromine in the air. Bromine will give you a natural high. So people who come down there for the treatment say, oh, in addition to any skin problems or orthopedic problems, they felt very happy when they were at the Dead Sea, and that's the reason. But another thing about the desert, in the Bible there are 6 terms for the desert. Midbar, which is an area where you can herd cattle, appears 280 times. Arva, which is desert plain or steppe area. Horva. Horva is something very important. It tells us it's an area that was once inhabited but destroyed. It's a waste or desolate area.
Now we will cross in a minute probably the most prominent location connected to Jesus and Christianity today, and that's the Good Samaritan.
Samaritan.
Good Samaritan. I'm sorry, the Good Samaritan, and we are driving on the Holy Geography. Holy Geography is the geography between Jerusalem and Galilee, where Jesus went back and forth. And over here, as he was approaching Jerusalem, there was a Good Samaritan taking care of him, And this is what you see to your right now. Today it's a small museum of mosaics and just maybe a station on the way with some things to buy. This is the entrance to Good Samaritan. You can see the Jordan Valley. I showed you yesterday on the map. We'll see it again. Yeah, look at the Bedouins at the side. Today, this year, it looks like it was quite a good year until now because there's more greenery than usual.
But he, willing to justify himself, said unto Jesus, And who is my neighbor? And Jesus said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment, and wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him, and passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him, and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence, and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Now which of these, thinkest thou, was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? And he said, He that showed mercy on him. Then Jesus said unto him, Go, and do thou likewise.
To your left, this is the city of Jericho, and it's called also the city of dates. And you can see many date plantations and date orchards around. You remember yesterday I told you about the Majul date, which is very delicious, and if you buy dates, look for the Majul, for the variety Majul. Still going down, and in a minute we'll come to an intersection where the road goes along the Jordan Valley northward to Beit Shan, to Tiberias, and up to Metula, which is the northern tip, the northern settlement in Israel, and also will turn right and will go along the rift to Eilat. So we are actually approaching now the longest road in Israel, from Eilat at the bottom to Metula at the top, road number 90. We are going to leave road number 1 and take road number 90.
If you notice, your ears are feeling stuffed up now. And why is that? Because the barometric pressure is increasing. For those who suffer from problems with their joints, this is actually very good. This is one of the reasons the health funds in Germany used to subsidize trips to the Dead Sea. And in the old days, you'd come to the hotels and you'd think you were in Germany because you'd hear so much German, the signs were in German. The American health insurance companies, unfortunately, didn't underwrite the trip. If they had, I'm sure that we would have had tons of tourists at the Dead Sea for that reason. But people come here to experience the waters, which are actually healing waters in the sense of dealing with skin problems. And they also come here because of the religious background. We're going to come to Qumran, and Uzi is going to talk to you a little bit about the Essenes. And one of the words that some of our researchers claim it comes from, the word is seen, is from Isa, which means healing. But this was not a healing just with medicines. This was a spiritual healing.
Rift, okay, but the cliff of the rift. Wow.
No, like a rift valley.
כן, זה הבנתי, זה אמרתי. So that day, the last buses went, freely between Jerusalem and the buses until that date went from everywhere to everywhere. And of course, the other stuff was spread around all over the world, and some of it was collected, was brought back by Israel, and many of the scripts themselves are in the Israel Museum in what we call Heichal HaSefer, the hall of books.
It's a privilege to be here. I want to thank God. I want to bless the Almighty Father that I'm here. I've heard a lot about the Dead Sea, and I'm thanking God for making me a living witness to be able to come here live. We see all these things in the Bible, we've heard of so many things about the Dead Sea, but it's a privilege to actually sing and be part of the Dead Sea. So my main aim of coming to the Dead Sea is just to trust God that everything that has been dead in my life will be recovered back. The Dead Sea, the salt in the Dead Sea too, apart from the spiritual aspect of it, is a very good thing to be used on the body, because I understand you can use Dead Sea salt to cure eczema, to cure any body problem. I don't know if you know anybody that has got any body disease or body impairment. Once you get Dead Sea salt, like I'm gonna take some with me, so it's a privilege for me to take part of it. So you can use to bath yourself, to cleanse yourself, and as you go into the Dead Sea, anything that is not normal in your body, in your skin, when you come into the Dead Sea, I understand it washes you and it cleanses you. So apart from the spiritual cleansing, it physically cleanses you as well. So I would encourage everybody as well to come and see, have a taste of it.
The environment is in the most lowest point on the earth. So the evaporation, it helps in also the respiration system. It has been some kind of having a spiritual connections with God. And the salt numerical number times 3 is almost the same as the name of God. So salt has been very important in the spiritual side of our life and the physical side of our life. And then also salt in Hebrew is melek. It's malak, isn't it? Melak, yeah. And then God also make a covenant with David that he must have salt as a covenant. And that also shows how kinship is also connected in the numerical number. They have the same. So melek and malak is almost the same. And it speaks of different things with different numbers, but the numerical number value is the same. And then also, salt has been very, very important when it talks about sanctification and also presenting anything to God. It's always God required that it must be sanctified with salt or must cleanse with salt. Other than that, it's not acceptable. So salt has been one of the spices that the Bible did not talk, the priest or the Levites did not ask for the quantity or the portion, but they ask as many as everybody can afford or can. They must bring to the priest or to the temple. So in our life we need salt, and salt is very, very big thing and also vital and a very symbolic for so many reasons. We thank God also for bringing us here in Jerusalem and to know much and to understand and to get very physical experience and get on with other things that we may seem to understand later on. Thank you.
Chaverim, we are getting close to our hotel and are also leaving you tonight, saying Shalom and Shabbat Shalom, whether you like it or you don't.
Why would you like you?
Yes. See you again on Sunday. Sunday morning, you come with the bus to Galilee. I'll be waiting for you there. I don't have to come back. כן, פה אתה פונה ימינה, ימינה. פה ממש אתה פונה ימינה.
התפללתי כבראשונה.
אפשר לשמוע מחיאות כפיים?
התפללתי כבראשונה.
אפשר לשמוע מחיאות כפיים?